Hey Cam followers, this is a little snippet from Cam trying to help you with a topic that is really current and it's really trending. I would love for you to meet Siobhan Menzies. She is a vet over from Northern Ireland, but I'm going to let her introduce herself because it flows off the tongue better. Tell us about yourself, Siobhan.
So I'm Siobhan. I've been a vet. Next year I'll be a vet for 30 years. I've spent 17 of those in pain management and rehab. So I own a practice holistic pet in Northern Ireland. We run pain management clinics in 6 different practices in Northern Ireland, providing pain management options. So acupuncture, laser, physiotherapy, hydrotherapy, multimodal pain management for pets in Northern Ireland. And you know, there's myself, my assistant Elsa, and we really love our work.
Yeah, when I spoke to Siobhan the first time, I was just, oh my God, the enthusiasm and the passion that's still within her 17 years on is insane. But what we're going to talk to you today about is CBD, because it is going crazy. And I've been rooting around trying to find people that I can give to you guys that are going to give you reliable, evidence-based legal advice. So today we're going to start off on the topic, what is CBD and what is all the hype about? And we're going to do 10 minutes and then we're going to move on to the next topic, which we'll see you the day after. All right, go for it. What is CBD?
Okay, well, just first of all, I've also taken on the role as veterinary consultant for the UK Cannabis Clinic, which is why I'm talking to you about CBD today. Okay. So CBD is cannabidiol. Okay, it's a phytocannabinoid. That's a cannabinoid of plant origin.
Yeah. So
the marijuana plant, Cannabis sativa, contains up to 80 phytocannabinoids. Mm-hmm. Now, the best known of these are THC and CBD.
Okay.
So THC is the one that's illegal in the UK. Mm-hmm. That means that's not illegal. Mm-hmm. And it is the one that's psychotropic. So it gives the high for cannabis users, but it also gives the unpleasant side effects, such as depression and suicidal thoughts. Okay. Now, CBD is legal in the UK, so it is allowed, and it's regarded as the kind little sister of THC. Okay. So in the original Cannabis sativa plant, they were together, the THC and CBD, in a balance where the CBD kind of played down those nasty side effects of the THC.
Okay.
But over the years, recreational drug users have hybridized the plant to produce higher levels of THC, which give a bigger high, but also more unpleasant side effects. And those hybrids tend to contain very little CBD.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So that's basically what CBD is.
And CBD at the moment is getting a huge amount of press, like ridiculous amounts of press. All the medicinal benefits are starting to become apparent. And it's quite interesting. I've been reading around trying to kind of catch up on the game. And it's actually being used a lot throughout history, as you say, as the plant. But there's been a recent research, hasn't there? And you must be inundated with questions. What is CBD potentially offering people?
Well, I think, you know, the hype is really driven by consumers, okay? Right. Consumers believe there's a medicinal benefit to CBD oil, which the scientific community has not yet fully proven, okay? So for years, cannabis users have been anecdotally telling people that there's benefits from their cannabis use, that it relieves their pain, it relieves their anxiety, it helps them sleep. Now, that has not yet been proven by the scientific community, but a lot of people have been using CBD oil to try and get these medicinal benefits. Okay. Now, it's quite complicated because in the UK, CBD in people is regulated as a food supplement. Okay, so it's not supposed to make any medicinal claims on a food supplement, but that's why people are taking it. Now, the food supplement area is unregulated. So in the UK at the moment, there's a massive multi-million pound industry of CBD as food supplements.
Yeah, it's in everything. It's in like milkshakes, face creams, hair products, handbags. You know, everything has got CBD in it. It's like, what?
I know. Everywhere you look, you know, CBD shops, CBD and vape shops. But the problem is this market is unregulated.
Yeah.
Okay. And as a result, a lot of the products maybe aren't of the best quality, They may not contain what they say in the tin.
Mm-hmm.
And we really need to pay attention to that. And the consumer needs to be aware of that. So to give you an idea, there was one study recently, studied 30 products from the high street. Okay, so one product contained no CBD, 0 CBD, being sold for £90 in a major UK retailer. 38% contained less than half of the CBD on the label. Okay, so if they said they contained 25 milligrams, they contained less than 12.5 milligrams. Okay, 8 products contained toxic levels of heavy metals and solvents that were above the permissible levels for food supplements, because the cannabis sativa plant is an accumulator. As it grows, it will accumulate lots of toxic substances.
It's a hardy plant, isn't it? It can grow in places and really it's up to just takes in so much.
Takes it all in, and then if you're not producing it in the correct way, you're not going to remove that. You then have a toxic product. One of these products also contained 3.8% ethanol, making it an alcoholic beverage, effectively. You know, so
that goes back to the pleasure drug.
Wonder why this is making me feel better.
Yeah.
And almost half contained levels of THC and another cannabinoid, cannabinol, which were above legal levels permitted in the UK. So it's quite scary. And yet this industry is currently in the UK, they think, worth about £300 million. So more than vitamin C and vitamin D markets together. And it's predicted to go up to £1 billion by 2025. So it is just crazy. And I think consumers need to be very canny because it's not regulated, because there's nobody coming along and checking that product. That label can say one thing, the certificate of analysis can say another, but you really do not know what's in that product unless it comes from a reputable, regulated source, in my opinion.
So we're going to come back to reputable, regulated, certificate of analysis and all that sort of stuff in a minute, but we need to just focus down on the claims, on the medicinal claims that are coming out. And we had Stephen Sittel on about a month ago, and he was talking from over in America and how there are some studies beginning to emerge about how CBD is beginning to show promise, but there's still a lot of work to be done. So I'm kind of excited, but where are we at with that? Obviously, the listeners to CAM are looking for products that are going to help with pain management. They're looking for products that are going to be helping with anxiety. And they're looking for products that can help some of the comorbidities that such as cognitive dysfunction or dementia. And these are the common things that are being seen on Holly's Army, which is our community page. But there is also lots of posts on there going, brilliant for epilepsy, it's brilliant for weight loss, it's brilliant for liver disease, it's brilliant for kidney disease, it's brilliant for appetite stimulation, it's brilliant for, crikey, seriously, that good? Surely we were using it here 200 years ago. But what's the...
Well, I think to understand the research, we kind of, first of all, have to understand what CBD potentially might do, how it might work. Because I'm going to talk about the research, we need to understand, what pharmacologically pathways it takes. So to understand the CBD action, we need to understand the endocannabinoid system. Okay. So the endocannabinoid system is our cannabinoid system. Okay. All vertebrates are born with a cannabinoid system. Okay. So the endocannabinoid system is a system of receptors, and it's the most ubiquitous receptor system in the body. And those receptors respond to chemicals known as endocannabinoids. These are retrograde neurotransmitters. Now, their function in the body is homeostasis. So it's achieving balance in our chemical reactions and processes. And those
trying to bring us back to normal, isn't it? It's just trying to...
Exactly, yeah.
I'm excited and we're going to come back to calm. I'm really low. I'm going to bring back up to high. It's just...
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect way of explaining it, Anna.
Nice.
Yeah, really well done. So those processes may be pain modulation, it may be immunomodulation, it may be anxiety. But the endocannabinoid system is involved in just keeping that, as you say, in balance. Okay? So the receptors are of two types. You've got the CB1 receptors in the brain and the central nervous system. The CBD receptors, CB2 receptors, are throughout the rest of the body, throughout the other organs, and they're often associated with immune cells. So our endocannabinoids act on these receptors. but that's where the phytocannabinoids come in. So the phytocannabinoids, such as THC and CBD, also act at these receptors. Right. THC acts mainly at the CB1 receptors in the brain and central nervous system. Yeah. Okay, and that's where it can have its psychotropic effect. CBD acts on the CB2 receptors, and so it may have an immunomodulatory effect. Right. Okay. Now, in addition to that, we know quite a lot of detail about the pathways through which CBD works. So it acts on certain receptors, such as the TRPV1 receptor involved in temperature control.
I know that one.
Yeah, you know that one. Yes. Pain modulation. It acts on adenosine receptors, affecting our anti-anxiety responses and our dopamine release. Mm-hmm. It inhibits fatty acid amide hydrolase, which is quite hard for me to say. And that enzyme is involved in the endocannabinoid system. And by inhibiting it, we can actually make the endocannabinoid system more effective. Right. And as I said before, it acts on the CB2 receptors, possibly having an immunomodulatory effect. Right. And there's a theory which I quite like, and the theory is that rather than CBD treating one specific condition, actually what it might be doing is treating a deficient endocannabinoid system. Yeah. So through age and illness, the endocannabinoid system stops working that well. And so our processes, go off, and so we may end up with pain, or we may end up with an immune illness. And the phytocannabinoids can possibly help to restore our own endocannabinoid system.
Which brings so much hope to owners. And I always refer back to Holly. Holly was my world, and watching her struggle, I would have grasped anything. And I did grasp CBD, and I did want to incorporate it into my plan. I wanted her to be as comfortable as possible. So the promises that are coming with the CBD based products and the potential that they may have, and the research that's coming out to suggest this is possible. Theory might actually play out to be truth, but we're not there yet. We still got a lot to learn. Yeah, because we don't know the long term. So this is really exciting, and I can see why the public are grabbing hold of it both hands. But there's a lot more to learn, and we're going to stop there, and we're going to come back tomorrow and talk to you more about what you need to know. So in summary from today, yes, there's hope. It's really exciting. We have got evidence coming into play that it may certainly have a role to play in this chronic disease, such as arthritis. But we still have quite a lot to learn, and it's a little bit of a hairy, scary world out there, where what you read on a packet ain't necessarily the truth. So when you are annoyed at your vet for not being right in there like swimwear and going, here, just have some CBD. I'm just going to take it from behind my head like they do in lots of health food shops. That's because vets are trained to be evidence-based, and they need to be using products that they know are reliable in content and claim. And at the moment, we're struggling a lot with that. So me as a vet, treating your dog that I know is in pain, I want to use something that I know will work rather than something that's speculative. And I still don't know enough about it to know what it might also do. So we're going to be back tomorrow, and we're going to talk further about CBD. So we're going to speak to you then. See you later.